How to care for Monstera Siltepecana. Here's a rundown on caring for your Monstera Siltepecana, also known as the silver monstera. Light, bright, indirect light is ideal. Think light coming through a sheer curtain. This will encourage growth and maintain the beautiful silver variegation on the leaves. It can tolerate lower light conditions, but avoid long periods of darkness as this can hinder growth. Watering. Monstera Siltepecana prefers consistently moist but not soggy soil. Water deeply when the top inch or two of soil feels dry to the touch. Always check the soil moisture before watering to avoid overwatering, a major cause of root rot. Drainage is key. Use a pot with drainage holes and a well-draining potting mix to prevent waterlogging. Soil. A well-draining potting mix is crucial. A good option is a mixture of potting soil, perlite, and orchid bark. This provides aeration and prevents the roots from sitting in water. Fertilizing. During spring and summer growing season, you can fertilize your Monstera Siltepecana with a balanced houseplant fertilizer once a month at half strength. Reduce or withhold fertilizer during fall and winter. Humidity. While not strictly necessary, Monstera Siltepecana thrives in moderate to high humidity. You can increase humidity by grouping plants together, using a pebble tray, or running a humidifier. Support. In their natural habitat, Monstera Siltepecana are climbers. Providing a moss pole or trellis will encourage aerial root growth and allow your plant to climb, creating a beautiful vining effect. Additional tips. Wipe the leaves occasionally with a damp cloth to remove dust and allow for better light absorption. Monstera Siltepecana is generally a low-maintenance plant. With proper care, it can grow quite large and become a stunning focal point in your home. How to propagate Monstera Siltepecana. You have two main ways to propagate your Monstera Siltepecana: in water or directly in soil. Here's a breakdown of both methods. Propagating Monstera Siltepecana in water. Tools: sterilized shears, glass jar or vase, tap water, ideally filtered or distilled. Steps: choose a healthy stem with at least 1 or 2 leaves and a node, the bump where a leaf and aerial root typically grow. Using your sterilized shears, make a clean cut just below a node, leaving at least 1 inch of stem below the node. Remove any lower leaves that would be submerged in water. Place the cutting in a glass jar or vase filled with fresh water, ensuring the node is submerged. Place the jar in a location with bright, indirect light. Change the water every 3 to 5 days to prevent bacteria growth. After a few weeks, roots should begin to sprout from the node. Once the roots reach 1 inch or 2 in length, your Monstera Siltepecana cutting is ready to be transferred to soil. Propagating Monstera Siltepecana in soil. Tools: sterilized shears, pot with drainage holes, well-draining potting mix, potting soil, perlite, orchid bark mix. Steps: follow steps 1 and 2 from the water propagation method above. Prepare a pot with a well-draining potting mix. Moisten the potting mix slightly. Plant the cutting in the pot, ensuring the node is buried slightly below the soil surface. Water the soil gently to settle it around the cutting. Place the pot in a location with bright, indirect light. Keep the soil consistently moist but not soggy. Water when the top inch of soil feels dry to the touch. Tips for both methods. Use sterilized tools to prevent the spread of bacteria. You can use a rooting hormone, optional, to encourage faster root growth, especially when propagating in soil. Provide warmth and humidity for optimal propagation. You can use a plastic bag to create a mini greenhouse around the pot for soil propagation, but ensure proper ventilation to prevent rot. Be patient. Propagating Monstera Siltepecana can take several weeks, so don't be discouraged if you don't see immediate results. With a little patience and care, you can successfully propagate your Monstera Siltepecana and create new beautiful plants. Is Monstera Siltepecana rare? Monstera Siltepecana isn't quite rare, but it's also not as common as some other Monstera varieties you might find in a regular garden center. Here's a breakdown. Not truly rare. You can find Monstera Siltepecana for sale online from various plant retailers and websites. Less common than others. It's less likely to be readily available at your local big box store or nursery compared to, say, a Monstera deliciosa Swiss cheese plant. Monstera Siltepecana versus Cebu Blue. When it comes to Monstera Siltepecana versus Cebu Blue, I find the Cebu Blue to be more striking with its unique, almost metallic blue foliage. It's been a joy watching its leaves unfurl, each one a glossy marvel. On the other hand, my Monstera Siltepecana has a more delicate charm with its intricate silver patterns on green leaves, which give it a softer appearance in my plant corner. Monstera Siltepecana versus Dubia. Comparing Monstera Siltepecana with Monstera Dubia, I appreciate how the Dubia's leaves are larger and more heart-shaped compared to the Siltepecana. The Dubia's deep green leaves add a lush, tropical feel to my indoor jungle, while the Siltepecana's smaller, patterned leaves bring a subtle elegance. Both plants have different textures and growth patterns that make them stand out in their own ways. Monstera Siltepecana versus El Salvador. In the debate between Monstera Siltepecana and Monstera El Salvador, I lean towards the El Salvador for its vibrant green leaves and more robust growth habit. Its leaves tend to be broader and more plentiful, creating a fuller appearance in my plant collection. However, the Siltepecana's intricate silver patterns are captivating and add a touch of refinement to my plant shelf, making it a charming companion to the El Salvador's more exuberant presence. Monstera Siltepecana versus Monstera Peru. As for Monstera Siltepecana versus Monstera Peru, I find both plants fascinating for different reasons. The Monstera Peru's unique, corrugated leaves and compact growth habit make it a standout piece in my plant collection, perfect for smaller spaces. In contrast, the Siltepecana's trailing vines and delicate leaf patterns bring a sense of airy elegance wherever it's placed. Each plant offers a distinct aesthetic, making it a delightful challenge to find the perfect spot for both in my home. So, while you might need to do a little more searching to find one, Monstera Siltepecana isn't impossible to acquire. However, its uncommon nature might make it seem rare to some collectors.